Yo, boom, family. So we are still on the mixing routine series. Last week Saturday, I said on that video that we are going to have a step back because of recording process, because we just jumped into the mixing phase of the series. So we're saying, okay, why don't we go a step backward and try to teach how to record, have a clean recording, you know, that analog field record, even if you don't have analog gears, because most of you will be recording sometimes and also mixing, even if you are not the one who made the beat. And I think that's where it should start from. And I have an artist here, tough shout out to him, who wants to give us some vocal to work with. So let's jump right in.
I been in be out of stability. Let the vex cause I really sabi this thing. Don't want to mess with my sanity. This is life from a vanity, upon vanity. Tabasukun kamariron, a long bow, madam when she married on. Come back, I'm a leon. Come back, below, then you make below. Big ups to my day ones.
You can see how this vocal is sounding without processing. What you want to do at first is this. You are going to look for plugins that have mic on it and some plugins that are maybe distortion plugins. That's what we want to find, because we want to replicate those analog gears. So what you need to do after you set up your project like this, you can see we've recorded a lot of things. What you want to do is to go to your input, which is the mic input. Come to the mixer, which is the mic input. You come to the mixer, which is the mic input. Then look at what I did. This is a channel strip that is basically a preamp for mic. As you can see, this is Avalon from UAD, but we are not going to use this because most of you might not have that kind of plugin. And my second plugin here was the Mali, which is also a preamp for mic, you know, for recording. So let's use something that you will be familiar with, and that will be something like SSL. I know most of you will have this from XSL Waves, you see? And this SSL also has mic. Can you see it here? It has mic, and that's what we're looking for. The first thing you want to do is to go to the mic section and make sure your mic is maybe, let's say, between 5 to 8 dB. Now, this thing is going to boost the gain and, of course, add color. This EQ is going to boost the gain and add color. So if you are using if your mic channel is mono, try to use mono of this because it also has mono. But if it is stereo, you can use stereo. So in this case, I'm using a stereo input channel from the mic, so sometimes it might be mono. Then what you want to pay attention to is this input from your sound card. Make sure it is 9 o'clock because you know too much of the gain will make it distort. So what we are looking at is once you will not tell the singer to sing. You know, you need to test this because once you test it, you'll be familiar with. You need to practice it with your section. So after watching this video, go to your studio and practice it. You can, if you sing, you can practice it with yourself and get used to it. And I'm telling you, your recording will be superb. It will sound like, you know, analog recording. So what you want to do is to use this gain, increase this gain to from 5 to 6 depending on what you want, and reduce the sound card volume to 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. You know, it's usually, most people put it between 1 to, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, but use 9 o'clock. Then you use this thing to bring the gain up so that when you are singing at a very, cool proximity to the mic, when you are singing, your mic, your input here is 5. You see? So your input here will be around 5. 6 to 5 dB. That's where your input should be reading as you are talking. Now, as you are singing, the next plugin you want to get is Tube. Is this guy. Always use the high. Don't touch this. Don't touch it because it might hurt your channel. It might hurt the signal. I bet you when you use it like this, you are going to have a very clean recording. So you need to test it. If the signal is too high, if it's above your stuff, you can reduce this output. Can reduce this output a bit. If it's too high when you are singing, like really singing, if it's too high, you just reduce the output a bit. Do you get? You reduce it until you are seeing. Music is not something you just jump into. It's something you practice. Once you get used to it, you become master in it. And once you have mixing for people, for clients, because you definitely get big. So once you start mixing for clients, they'll be like, wow. And you can use this while mixing. You can use this after mixing. Why mix? Yes, after recording. You can still use this to emulate the mic. It's not just before recording. But when you use it to track, you'll be able to have that, analog sounding source from the vocal before you now start to, mix, and it will make your mix very big and, your vocal very big and wide and, sitting well with the mix. So once you finish recording like what I have here right now,
don't want to mess with my sanity. This is life from vanity upon vanity.
See what I have here now.
Big ups to my day ones.
Once you have this thing here now, the next thing you want to do is to go to the channel. Once you've finished recording, is to go to the channel, and if you have some noise, I know we'll definitely have some noise, because most of us, we are recording in an environment where we have noise, AC, fan, blah blah blah. So you want to denoise, like I always say, use any denoiser. You want to denoise before autotune. Denoise it separately. The reason why you have to denoise separately, because some of the vocals might be, up and down. I like using this guy, expander, and this preset, less noise. Boom, I just reduce this guy and increase this one to 2+, about 219.
Big ups to my day ones.
So once I am happy with the denoiser, so you listen to it. When you are doing these technical things, always use headphone. Fuck your speakers. Always use headphone. When you are doing technical things, this noise that, that are beneath your room level, please use headphone. So, once you are done with the first one, all you just need to do is to come here to the mixer. And this is where we are, and duplicate it across on top. It should be your first plugin. You duplicate it across because you already denoise it. So then if you have a signal that is low, maybe backup and the waveform is lower, you can still duplicate it. Then you have to come there and adjust the threshold because it's not the same level. So that one, if the signal is too low, if the gain of the vocal is too low, maybe backup that is lower, if you copy that one, if you drag this, paste it to that channel, because the signal is low, it will be cutting the words. So you have to come and adjust just this threshold so that it can reduce the noise even if the vocal is low. So yes, now for engineers that have access to this guy, UAD plugins, all you have to do is to bring this guy in. You have NIF preamps, and they are very closer to the original, like the hardware. They are very, very much closer. So all you have to do is to enable the mic. Once you enable the mic, it's going to boost the volume. You need to reduce this guy, the sound card, to 9 o'clock. Reduce it to 9 o'clock like this. Then you don't need to touch this game because you already reduce it from here. So, and that is that. If it's still too high, you can just adjust this one a bit. You can see mine. This is what I used. I didn't touch it. Note there are some preamps here. There are some preamp from here that are very high in volume. So, like Focusrite, they are very high. Any small things already shouting. So you might want to reduce it from here too and practice it. Then you don't want to touch any other thing. You can adjust this one. Adjust this so that it's not cutting too much on the compression. You can bring it to this area. So if you are using preamp that has compression. So the next thing I do, I usually use 2 preamps. So the next thing I do is to use another preamp again. This is Mali preamp, very good. You can use the high pass if you want. Me, I actually use a preset called Vocal Tracker. So if you feel it's too high, you can now adjust the input, the output, and make sure it is not going above 5. It should be around 5-6 dB. That is your sweet spot for recording vocal. Do you get 5-6 dB? That's where you are looking at for vocal. Yes, you need to follow this thing up. We have a series going on. We are going to link it at this corner. If you have not watched it, you can go ahead and go back and watch that video. And I'm telling you, if you follow this series, it's going to help you a lot. It's going to make you take your mix from here to here, because this is not just about specific techniques. This is about routine. You follow the routine and make sure things are working for you. You follow up the routine. It's not just go and tweak this. Anybody telling you when you use this EQ, your mixing is going to translate. No. What takes your mix from here to here is a system. You need to master that system. You need to build on it a routine. You need to build on it, know it, familiarize with it, and boom, your mix will just start translating well. By the time we finish this series, you understand. So, gracias.
Let the vex, cause I really sabi this thing. Don't want to mess with my sanity. This is life from my vanity, upon vanity.